Good morning. Today we will discuss about financial decisions, the capital structure and how to find out the right capital structure in different methods. Okay, so today I am starting from financial decision. Financing decision is the one of the most important decision a finance manager has to take. So there are three important decisions. One of them is financing decision, in which the first question is how much capital should be raised to fund the firm's operation. That is an important decision the financing manager has to take. That is how much capital is required to fund the firm operation. And the second important question the financial manager has to take is what is the best mix of the financing of these investment proposals. What is the best mix of these investment proposals? Say, this is what is called, I can call it as a capital structure. Here, what is the capital structure? So it is a complex area of financing decision making. A poor capital structure results in high cost of capital, and an effective capital structure lowers the cost of capital, resulting in higher profitability. So that is what is the importance of capital structure. What exactly is this capital structure? So capital structure is a combination of debt equity mix and other sources of finance. Here, let us understand the definition of capital structure. So capital structure of a company refers to the composition of its capitalization, and it includes all long-term capital sources, that is loans, reserves, shares and bonds. So this is the definition of capital structure. So when companies wants to start a business, or it wants to expand its business, or it wants to diversification of business, there is a need for additional money or additional capital. That's where we need to check whether this capital structure will lead us to get maximum profit and minimum cost. That is what capital structure talks about. Here, what are the sources we have? From where on we can get capital from? We can get capital from these are the sources. I can say it as from the stockholders' equity, that is equity shares. The next step we have preferred stock, that is preference shares. So we have, apart from that, retained earnings, reserves and surplus. I can say all these four are connected with equity capital, and the remaining two, that is long-term debt or current liabilities, will be named as debt capital. So these are the sources of money where we can get from to start a business or to expand your business. And there is something very, very important which we have to focus on: optimal capital structure. So what is this optimal capital structure? We have understood the meaning of capital structure. We need to understand optimal capital structure also. It is the ideal mix of debt-equity ratio. So combining various long-term sources of funds in such a way that it minimizes the cost of capital and risk, resulting in maximizing of firm's value. That is what is optimal capital structure. Why we are designing this capital structure? The end result should be maximizing firm's value and reducing cost of capital and reducing the risk of the firm. Here there is a definition for the optimal capital structure. Optimal capital structure is the percentage of debt, preferred stock and common equity that will maximize firm's stock price. Again, it is mentioning the same thing. What is the percentage of debt we need to have? What is the percentage of stock we need to have? What is that results in the reduction of cost or maximizing the firm's value? That is the optimal capital structure. We need to design our capital structure in such a way that it gives us maximum profits and minimum cost and minimum risk. Continuation with the understanding of meaning of capital structure, let us try to find out through a problem. So this is here we have understanding capital structure planning through a scenario using this EBIT and EBIT EPS approach. So there's a problem on capital structure planning using this EBIT EPS approach. So we have understood the importance of capital structure, and we also understood the optimal capital structure. Here the main aim of the finance manager is to lower the cost of capital. So let us understand through this problem how do we find out EPS and what is the minimal cost in terms of capital structure. Here we have a problem. So XYZ Limited is capitalized with 50,000 equity shares of rupees 10 each. Company wants another rupees 5 lakhs for expansion program. So the following are the different plans available. All equity shares rupees 2,50,000 in equity, and the balance in preference shares, that is 10%, and rupees 2,50,000 in equity, and the balance in debentures of 10%, that is plan 3, and plan for all debentures at 8% interest, and tax rate is 50%, EBIT 60,000 per annum, calculate EPS. This is what is the problem given. So let us understand the problem. So it means XYZ company is already running. It has a capital of 5 lakhs with 50,000 equity shareholders. They are existing company, and this company wants to expand its business, so they need additional funds of 5 lakhs. If they want additional funds of 5 lakhs, the company has 4 options wherein they can raise funds from. So they need 50 lakhs money, 5 lakhs rupees out of 10 rupees each share. So 5 lakhs rupees is required. So they have an option wherein they can go with all equity shares. They can raise the complete 5 lakhs through all equity shares. One plan is that. The second option they have is they can divide 50% through equity, that is 2,50,000 they can raise through equity shares, and the remaining amount they can issue preference shares, that is at 10%. So they have one more plan, they have one more option. I can say they can still go with the 2,50,000 with equity, the remaining with debentures at 10%. So in the last thing they are planning is going with all debentures only at 10%, 8% interest. So they have these 4 options. Okay. So now they are assuming that they will get profits of 60,000. So EBIT expected. EBIT means earnings before interest and tax. EBIT expected is 60,000 per annum, and they are assuming a tax rate of 50%. They are asking us to calculate EPS, because whichever plan gives us more EPS, then we will say that is the best plan. So earning per share, EPS is earning per share, whichever gives us more earnings per shareholder, then that is the beneficial plan. So the company has to find out which is the best option among here. That is what we discussed in optimal capital structure. Which is the best option, we'll say whichever gives us minimum risk and minimum cost of capital and gives us maximum profits to the equity shareholders. That is what is optimal capital structure. So we will find out which is the best plan among these 4. So here the format is we have to follow this. We need to write down particulars. 4 financial plans, plan 1, plan 2, plan 3 and plan 4. And this is the format we need to follow. Always it starts with EBIT, and then less interest on debt capital, and then we have to pay, we will get EBT, then we have to pay tax of 50%. After paying tax, we will get EAT. EAT is nothing but earnings after tax. Then we need to pay preference dividend. So we have to subtract preference dividend whatever we have paid, and then we get this EASH, that is earnings available for equity shareholders. So then we have to divide with the number of shareholders, we will get EPS. This is the format we will follow to calculate EPS. Okay. So here in the particulars we have written existing 5 lakhs and new 5 lakhs, because the existing capital of the company, that is 50,000 equity shares multiplied with 10 rupees is 5 lakhs. So existing capital of the company is 5 lakhs, that is mentioned here, and the new capital which is required for the company is 5 lakhs. So here we
solving the problem to find out EPS. So first step is EBIT. All the 4 plans, EBIT is same, 60,000, 60,000, 60,000, 60,000. Next comes, we need to reduce interest on debt capital. Now we have to find out in these 4 plans, which plan has debt. Here, this is all equity shares, no debt capital. Second plan, again it is equity, preference shares. Again no debt, interest, wherever we pay interest, we will call it as debt capital. It can be debenture or it can be a long-term loan, we will call it as debt capital. Okay. So when the term interest comes, it's a debt capital. So here, again we have equity, balance in debentures. So here we have a debt capital. Okay, so again all debentures, here also we have debt capital. So plan 1, plan 2, we do not have debt capital, no need of paying interest. So what happens here? Nil and nil. Plan 1, plan 2. Plan 3 we have debt capital of 10% on how much? On 2,50,000. How did we find out it is 2,50,000? Because we have mentioned here balance, the total amount required was 5 lakhs. Out of 5 lakhs, 2,50,000 we have taken from equity. So remaining 2 lakh, that is balance, remaining 2,50,000 is in debenture. So 2,50,000 into 10%. Okay, 2,50,000 into 10%, 25,000. That we will write down here. Plan 3, debenture 10% on 2,50,000. I am repeating, how did we get this 2,50,000? The total capital required, additional capital was 5 lakhs, out of which 2,50,000 is raised from equity, and remaining, that is balance amount is from preferential. The balance is 5 lakh minus 2,50,000, so 2,50,000 in debenture. So 10% on 2,50,000 is 25,000, plan 3. Next comes plan 4. We understood plan 4 also has a debt. So we need to pay interest for debt. So debenture here is 8%. So debenture 8% on how much? Here all debentures. It means all 5 lakhs. Debentures 8% on 5 lakhs. So 5 lakh, 8% on 5 lakhs is nothing but 40,000. Okay, 8 5 are 40. So for 40,000. Next comes here. We have to find out equity. We completed interest on debt capital. So we have got interest on debt capital. Now we have to find out equity. That is earnings before tax. Once we subtract this from this, okay, subtract this from this, you get the EBT. 60,000. Since it is nil here it is 35,000 because 60,000 minus 25,000 is 35,000. Here it is 20,000. 60,000 minus 40,000 is 20,000. So next step is tax. Tax, it is given here 50% paid tax rate as 50%. I have taken 50% as tax rate. 50% on 60,000 is 30,000. And 50% on 60,000 here also again 30,000. And here it is 17,500. 50% of 35,000 and 10,000 for 50% of 20,000. Next comes earnings after tax. Next step. So that is this minus this. So EBT minus T. EBT minus T. That is tax. You will get EAT. Earnings after tax. So here 30,000 and 30,000 and 17,500 and 10,000. 50% we have given here, so 50% remains here. So next step is we have to give preference dividend. After getting tax, after we pay tax, we need to pay dividends for preference shareholders. The next job is to find out how many preference shareholders, which all plans we have preference shareholders. Here we do not have any preference shareholders. Here we have preference shareholders. Here equity and debentures no preference. Here also no preference shareholders. Only in plan 2. We have preference shareholders. So, plan 1 nil, plan 3 nil, plan 4 nil. Only in preference dividend is for plan 2. So, how much? 10%. On how much? 10% on how much? So, balance. What does it mean? Again 5 lakhs minus 2,50,000, 2,50,000. That's right. Here only So 2,50,000, 2,50,000 together is 5 lakhs. So balance is 2,50,000 here. Here also same thing happened in the previous step. Okay, so 2,50,000. Here let's take this preference dividend 10% on 2,50,000. That is for plan B. So 25,000. Okay, so now again we need to subtract EAT, earnings after tax, minus preference dividend. We will get EASH. Let's understand what is EASH. This is 5,000. Okay, this is 30,000 as it is same. This is 5,000. This is 17,500, and this is 10,000. Okay. Next, EASH. This is what we call as EASH. What is EASH? Earnings available for equity shareholders. What is the earnings which is available for equity shareholders? So, shareholders should take money after paying for preference shareholders dividend, after paying interest on debt capital, and after paying tax. Remaining money is only for them. So remaining money, whatever the profits after paying all these things, whatever remains is for them. So the next very important step is finding out the number of shareholders, because we need to divide this money to the shareholders. Earnings available for equity shareholders, the remaining amount is for shareholders. We need to divide for the shareholders. When we have to divide for shareholders, what should we know? We should know how many people are there, how many number of equity shareholders. This is very important step. Generally, students will get confused with this number of shareholders. They get confused between rupees. Okay, so here when they say it is very clear, 50,000 equity shareholders, it is clearly mentioned. When I say it is 5 lakhs, it is not number of shareholders. This is rupees 5 lakhs. So generally they get confused with that. So this is capital money, this is not number of shareholders here. Okay, so we have to find out the number of shareholders for each plan to find out EPS, which is very important step. So easy method is you can take like this: shareholders, existing, new shareholders. Okay, so here existing shareholders. First we will see, because we know this company is existing company and which is already running. The company is running with 50,000 equity shareholders. It means 5 lakh is the capital of the company. We know existing capital 5 lakhs. So already the company is moving with 5 lakhs capital. It means 50,000 equity shareholders are there in this company. So existing 50,000 shareholders remains the same for all the plans. So existing shareholders 50,000 for all the plans I have written. Plan 1, 50, plan 2, plan 3 and plan 4. Next step is we have to find out how many new number of shareholders. When I have to find out the new shareholders, new number of shareholders, I have to see all the plans. Plan 1, all equity shares. Plan 1 is all equity shares. So 5 lakhs is the additional money I wanted, in which plan 1 says all are equity shareholders only. So 5 lakh rupees divided with 10 rupees equity share, I get 50,000. So plan 1, 50,000 additional shareholders. We had existing shareholders 50,000. Now additional shareholders is 50,000 in plan 1. Because all plan 1 says all shareholders only, all equity shares, no preference dividend, no debentures. So all shareholders only. 5 lakh was the capital required. 5 lakh divided by 10 rupees, you get 50,000. So 50,000 equity shareholders have been added in plan 1. Plan 2. 50%, that is 2,50,000 are equity. So we are trying to find out number of shareholders. So 2,50,000 we are raising through equity. So 2,50,000 rupees. So 2,50,000 divided by 10, 25,000 shareholders have been added. So 25,000 shareholders are added in plan 2. You see here I have added 25,000 shareholders for plan 2. Similarly plan 3. Plan 3 is also talking about 2,50,000 in equity. So again plan 3 is 25,000 shareholders have added. Let's see plan 4. All debentures, no equity shareholders added. So we are not adding any new shareholders. So there are whatever, so I will write no new shareholders here. Now total the shareholders 50 plus 51 lakh, 50 plus 25 75, 50 plus 25 75 and 50 plus no new shareholders 50,000 as it. Now it is very easy. We have found out the number of shareholders. Just applying that here, we have to apply because EASH divided by number of shareholders 1 lakh, 30,000 divided by 1 lakh. Then here 5,000 divided by 75,000 shareholders. So this has to be shared. This is the amount, this is number of shareholders. So amount, this is the profits available for shareholders divided with the number of shareholders. You will get the actual earning per share. Then 17,500 here. I have 17,500 for the next one. Now shareholders are again 75,000 shareholders. And the last plan we have 50,000 shareholders. Now the next important job is we have to divide. So once we divide this, we get 0.30. 30,000 divided by 1 lakh shareholders. 30,000 rupees divided by 1 lakh shareholders, we get 0.30, 0.30. And then second plan we get 0.067. Third plan we get 0.23. And fourth plan 0.20. Okay, so what does it mean? Here it means the earnings available for equity shareholders is 30,000, 5,000, 17,500 and 10,000 rupees. Now it has been divided with the number of shareholders. In plan 1 the number of shareholders were 1 lakh. In plan 2 75,000 shareholders. In plan 3 75,000 shareholders. And plan 4 50,000 shareholders. Now I divided 30,000 with 1 lakh. I got 0.30. It means 30 paisa is the profit, is the earning for shareholder. One shareholder will get 30 paisa per share. Okay, the profit, the earnings available for equity shareholder. Earnings per share is 30 paisa. Earnings per share plan 2 is 0.67. So here 0.23, that is 23 paisa. It is 20 paisa. So according to this problem, plan 1 is beneficial for equity shareholders. So according to this situation, they can raise funds through this method. All equity shares will give maximum earning per share, that is 30 paisa per share is the maximum earning in this problem. So they can go ahead with issuing for all equity shares. Thank you.